Angela Smith was checking her suitcases. She and her grandchildren, Tom and Sarah, were going to the oceanside for holidays. The woman tried to please the kids because they had lost their parents who had died in a car accident. 5 years ago, her daughter Stephanie and her son-in-law Jack left the children with Mrs. Smith and went on a camping trip. According to the police report, Jack went over the speed limit and the car went off the bridge and fell into the river. Because the current was so strong, rescuers were never able to find the couple's bodies. Since then, Tom and Sarah had been raised by their grandmother. When they got to California and saw the ocean, the kids were thrilled. They enjoyed the warm water, fresh air, and soft sun. One day during their vacation, Mrs. Smith was lying on a sunbed reading a magazine. Suddenly, Thomas came up to her and said, "Grandmother, I think I have just seen my father and mother. They were near the ice cream booth." The woman turned pale, but then pulled herself together. "Honey, you must be wrong. Your parents died 5 years ago," she replied. Thomas continued to insist, so Mrs. Smith decided to check it out herself. She went to the booth and was suddenly dumbfounded. There were her daughter and a man who looked very much like her son-in-law. They were arguing about what ice cream to choose and did not notice the old lady. "How come? I've been mourning them for 5 years," thought the woman, and tears welled up in her eyes. But then the couple paid the seller and headed to the city. Angela decided to follow them. She took the children and followed her daughter. "Grandma, are we playing spies?" asked Sarah, who did not understand what was happening due to her age. "Yes, dear," the old woman replied. "Just keep quiet." Fortunately, it was not long to go, and soon the couple disappeared behind the gates of a luxurious mansion. Where did they get the money for such a house? Thought Angela. She realized that she was unlikely to be able to find out everything herself, so she called the police. The officers quickly arrived at the scene, went into the house, and talked to the owner. Only under their pressure, he eventually told his story. It turned out that the owner of the mansion was Jack's elder brother, whose name was Alex. He often had problems with the law. After university, he moved to another state. There he was imprisoned for some time for armed robbery. After that, he decided to return to his hometown. When he came to visit his younger brother, he was very surprised to see how much he had achieved. However, this meeting left a lasting impression on Stephanie, who did not love her husband and had only married him because he was a promising guy. The woman fell in love with Alex at first sight. Alex was jealous of Jack and wanted to take over everything that belonged to him. It was then that he came up with a plan to get rid of his brother. Stephanie agreed to take part in it. To begin with, she secretly withdrew all the money from the accounts, and then, when Alex invited the couple on a trip, she gave her husband sleeping pills. After that, Alex pushed the car with unconscious Jack inside into the river. Then they bought a luxurious house in California and lived happily together.